Al pie del Ávila majestuoso, a 920 metros sobre el nivel del mar, en un valle de verde geografía que se abre de este a oeste, surge Caracas, la capital de Venezuela.
And now, our feature presentation.
You are watching a master at work.
Go get some!
Hey, how's it going? My name is Rafael Chacin, and welcome to another episode of the Combat Club. This is the episode number 37, ladies and gentlemen. And I know it's a late night because I was trying to figure it out what the fuck is going to happen with my StreamYard and the internet, but right now we're going like 50-50. And make sure to subscribe to Capitán Rafucho on YouTube. Also, you can follow me on every social media. And that's as known as Twitter, Instagram, Rumble, TikTok, Twitch. Because before that I go to like checking out the preview of the biggest event, which is the UFC 313, which is going to be today, Saturday. For those guys who living on the Pacific Coast, it's going to be tomorrow, Saturday. But for us, we living on the East Coast. Right now, it is today. It is today the main event. The main event that all the people that are waiting for, which is Magomed Ankalaev versus Alice Pereira. Shama. But I just wanted to tell you that maybe my internet is crashing and down because I was trying to figure it out, all those lines that are going out there. But you know what? We're trying to figure it out, which is going to be 50-50. But here we are. Here we are. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to figure it out. And we're going to put to the table our preview to the UFC 313, which is going to be really insane, ladies and gentlemen. Really insane. So, right now we got the women's strawweight Amanda Lemos versus Yasmin Lucindo. Now, for those guys who didn't know about that, some of the people, they just like it. Amanda Lemos is just like a powerful striker with a lot of holes, pause, of the grappling game. While Yasmin Lucindo is a rising prospect with a strong grappling and decent striking, Lemos' experience against high-level competition should give like the edge of this matchup, and she did it like title shot against Sean Whaley. And of course, Lucindo is a good fighter, but not only she did against Marina Rodriguez by split decision, but she only did with Lemos knock her out. And I think it's gonna be like a really good step in the competition, because if Lemos can dictate the pace and use her striker to keep Lucindo at the distance, so that should be able to land more damage through the fight. So right now, Amanda Lemos could be an underdog, to be honest right now. I mean, she was like a real badass. And I think that between for like the division of the women's strawweight, I mean, she could have like the highest level as really possible. Yep. Also, next we got the lightweight, which is Jillian Turner versus Ignacio Bahamondes. Now, this is one of those fights that they gotta check it out for the bookmakers. That are absolutely right there. Both fighters are really tall. I mean, I'm not kidding about that, folks. Some of those fighters are like short, Some of the fighters are tall. I mean, it's not much a difference right now. But they're very ranky with good knockout power if they had a mirror match for each other. I mean, Turner and Bahamondes also they use fighting shorter guys under a division, which presents an interesting dilemma for both fighters after the first time, and they'll have to fight someone on their own size. I mean, it's very difficult, but I think they're going out to like Jalen Turner over Ignacio Bahamondes. I mean, I'm sorry about that. Even though that Turner is 14-8 and he has more experience against high level fighters. Even they had a split decision losers against Dan Hooker and Kazma Gamrot. He should have beaten Renato Moicano as didn't show both while came away prematurely. But in this contrast, I mean, they could have like the best opponent for Bahamontes if they has him for Ludwig Klein. But I think that Turner, it could turns out like the best grappler as well in this matchup because I'm gonna respect it. It's gonna be very close competitive. But I think that Jalen Turner will get the victory against the younger prospect. So that will be good. Also, the another fight that I can preview because it's gonna be 5 fights at the UFC 313 on Las Vegas. The next stop we got King Green versus Mauricio Ruffi. Now, let me ask you for a few questions. Just like what? How many prospects have NC get fraud check this year? I mean, the beginning of the year 2025. This looks like the veteran versus prospect matchup that's always had the potential to be one of those fights. But I understand that Bobby Keane is 38, but he's looked like a solid veteran, especially when it comes to like striking department and toughness. He might sound like a typical thug, but his journey he has a good performance, such he fraud checked Dawson. But I mean that Mauricio Ruffi, one of the fighting nerds, reminds me of like a youngest Conor McGregor in terms of the style, but he's still improving and not to be worth at his checking style with grappling, striking. But I mean, it might be like at a fun match, but it's gonna be really closer because both guys in the octagon, they have scrappy striking that'll be closer than the odds. I mean, they have a part of the going to stick it out to the best game plan possible. I mean, who knows? Who knows about it? I mean, what exactly would it go for the guts? I mean, I understand the Mauricio Ruffi. I understand he one of the best fighters of our generation and part of the fighting nerds. But man, this could be like it is so realistic. All right, so next up, we got Justin Gage versus Rafael Fisiev. Now, before that, because they just originally had Justin Gage versus Dan Hooker, but between Dan Hooker's injury, I mean, they just scrapped it out and they just get replaced with Rafael Fisiev. Now, for this moment, Justin Gage is one of the most exciting fighters in the whole history of the MMA. Because afterwards, you see Dustin Poirier, the Diamond. I mean, they know about this relentless pace, having like kicks, knockout power. We all know that Justin Gage is the baddest motherfucker who always will come out swinging and bring the entertainment value. Sorry about that, Michael Chandler, but we got a lot of competition coming out there. But Gage had suffered a brutal breakdown against Matt Holloway. Yep, it was like a brutal beatdown. Like where Holloway broke his nose early. I mean, they just beat him just like all 5 rounds. All 5. Well, 5 of them. To me, it's very ironic that the guy that put all the beatdown is basically wrecked Tony Ferguson's career was giving like the receiving for a similar kind of beatdown. But I mean, I thought it was gonna be like the last second brawl to put in the cherry on the top. Could be anything. I think so. But for me, Rafael Fisiev, I know he's one of the toughest guys. You gotta be careful with that because he's one of the similarly aggressive with the light Muay Thai skills, devastating power, excellent movement. I mean, their first fight was very competitive at the first two rounds before gassing it out. And the third round with Justin Gage was pulled away. Yep, was pulling off of the way. Hey, how's it going, Robert Pena? Salute to you. Salute to you, Robert Pena. Salute to you. Also, Greenwich Derek to say the main card start yet. No, Greenwich Derek. The main card is gonna start at 10 p.m. So I'm gonna do like a preview show before the main event. Yep, that was before the main event. So you gotta wait until 10 p.m., which is the main card, and the 7 p.m., which is the preliminary card. Also, shout out to the MMA Food because I understand that most of those persons they just watched the preliminary card, which is very excited. Now, continue with Justin Gage versus Rafael Fisiev. Now, I was asking if I can choose Justin Gage, and I couldn't believe that. But he was like an underdog. I mean, he might just win away for a title shot against Michael Badge. But then I just remember Khabib Nurmagomedov words about a fighter not being like the same after a terrible beatdown, and they cannot see the beatdown it took against Holloway. I know that Gage is 36, having absorbed a lot of damage all his career, but might not really head towards like the same path as Tony Ferguson. Yep. I know this guy really excited, electrifying top fighter who became a shell after much accumulated damage to his career. But I thought Fisiev could be like a stronger pick as the youngest, fresher fighter that proved that he can go for toe against a younger Gage in the striking battle. But I think that to get the knockout finish against the fan favorite. We all know about that. Greenwich Derby to say 10 p.m. Whistler time. Well, 10 p.m. Eastern time, which means 7 p.m. Pacific time. And I know that some of those persons, they live in Las Vegas, Nevada, Phoenix, Arizona, California, for example, because all the people who live in California, they had to put the main card at 7 p.m. So let me remind you for this one. The main card starts at 10 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Pacific time. So you might know about this. And shout out to the 14 persons live on Nets and 3 persons on YouTube. Thank you very much. So after the co-main event, let's just get to the main event for the people who want some action. Yep, a lot of action coming out there. Ladies and gentlemen, the main event. Alex Pereira, the king of Chama, versus Magomed Ankalaev. And now some of those fans, they're begging for Magomed Ankalaev to win over Alex Pereira. It's not going to be really easy at all. But just to make it clear, I mean, Alex Pereira is one of my favorite fighters in those days of UFC. And I won't blame that. I won't blame that because I know his style, I mean, he's generated to create a lot of power with very little hips rotation. I mean, it might be a lot denser than a normal human, as even easy as known as Israel Sindaya have mentioned how it hurts to be kicked at a part of the foot. And I understand that that normally can explain he can really hard without proper technique. I mean, without the say, we all know that he was glaring a weakness when it comes to grappling. And all the Jan Blachowicz probably came used to beat him in the lightweight hit division, using his wrestling to test Alice Pereira grappling defense early, and there is like a huge, well, not that huge argument to be made, like Jan won the fight. And I know there's a lot of talk to Ankalaev will finally become the guy to expose Pereira with his wrestling when it comes to Dagestan. It is an excellent fighter. And I understand that Islam Makhachev, Kazmachi Ahmed, and then Magomed Ankalaev, those guys for Dagestan, they know about how to get exposed those skills in opponent. And I actually think an Ankalaev can win this fight if he comes in with a similar game plan like John Blachowicz, shooting early takedown and top control over Pereira. But people, they don't have doubt that Ankalaev is a champion material, especially if he meets striking with grappling more. I would say that he's more well-rounded and skilled MMA fighter than Pereira. The thing is, I don't trust Michael government, which is do the right thing. And he's implemented a game plan. I mean, he only started used to wrestling against John when it comes to getting in trouble. I know the Ankalaev mainly a striker, and he has a very excellent, powerful technical striker with devastating punches that have knocked out a lot of many opponents. But it seems that he's just like a prideful guy. Pause. I mean, and I can see like Ankalaev choosing like rely on the strength initially to prove the world that he could be Pereira in the stand-up battle. Could be, but it's not gonna be really easy at all. But I understand that some of those fans, including content creators from the MMA universe, they want so bad to see Magomed Ankalaev expose Alice Pereira. And shout out to Dog MMA and of course No Chill MMA. I mean, those part of the MMA community. But you know what? I mean, some of those people they might be right, but some of the people they have wrong. Even if Ankalaev, the pathway for the victory, Alice Pereira is one of those few fighters that benefit the 5-round format instead of 3. I know that every round starts like a standing offer, like basically gives Pereira 5 chances to find the knockout. I mean, 5 of them. 5 of them. Even though that Pereira has suspect takedown defense, but he does like a very good defensive plan, but it's going to like at the bottom position, pause. I mean, he will use that strength. He will use that strength, to be honest, to minimize the damage tank control from the ground and pound strikes very well potential submissions instead of trying to improve his position. I know that Pereira gives 5 chances to get the fight back up and stand it. In theory, Alice Pereira, he could retake it down and control by 4 rounds by finding one good punch to put away Ankalaev in the last round. I mean, Ankalaev, it's not that, well, not that very a guy from submission that tries an advantage for him in such situations. But I think that someone like Gelton Almeida, if you remember the guy, will be like a tougher matchup for Pereira, which is doing like the threat of the submissions that he posed. But when the fight is going to be really standing, I think that Ankalaev is going to move forward in style that he shows up can be vulnerable to Pereira devastating counters, but Pereira has shown while they had no issues at all. But if Ankalaev choose to fight at the same game plan and shoot for this takedown, I mean, that'll be the toughest matchup. I mean, that'll be the toughest matchup yet everywhere on this main card. But if we got to stick to get job done, it sounds all that is doubters with another knockout victory over Ankalaev. So in my choice, I think that Alice Pereira can really knock down against Ankalaev. And I know there's some of those fighters that are going to be really dangerous, but I can show to see to not mess with Brazil, to mess up. Yep, to not mess, to be honest. Hey, how's it going, Matua? What's good? Salute to you, Matua. Matua Shama. Shama. And well, what can I say about it? Thanks for like the love and the comments because I really understand that even though that I have some internet issues, we'll just keep going. The show must go on. And yes, this is gonna be really interesting. Now you might know that before because I was planning to do like the episode with my co-host Zion, but we gotta do like the review of the event UFC 313 along with my co-host Zion the next week. So don't worry about it because I understand that some of those persons have the busiest weeks. I have a busiest week because I was working. So I'm not gonna lie for that. Not gonna lie, but it's basically like between the balance of working as a content creator and of course working in different jobs. I mean, it's kind of lousy, it's kind of busy, but also it kind of like really tired because your body can control that balance. And I know that I've been working it out. So yes, I know the reveals like. I know. And you gotta make sure to subscribe to Capitán Rafucho. Also, you can follow all over my social media on Nats, as known as Twitter, Instagram, and of course, TikTok and Rumble. Let's see what I got for this one. Hey, how's it going, Ray Love? Salute to you. Salute to you, Ray Love. Salute to you. There you go. Raiders. And speaking about the Raiders, because I have a morning show coming out there on this Saturday, because we're going to talk about between the situation of Max Crosby and Geno Smith as a new quarterback from Las Vegas Raiders. Yep. I mean, it's going to be really crazy at all, to be honest, right now. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know it's going to be like really late right now, but you know, we have something very in common because I know that between for internet and of course doing like a content creator, I mean, that means a lot. That means a lot for everything. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I have the card for the preliminary bouts, which is like the preliminary bouts. So let's just start with the early prelims right now, which is going to be at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So check this out. We got the George Santos versus Aussie Diaz, which is the middleweight bout. Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda, both they are American. Also, they got Myron Santos versus Francis Marshall on featherweight, which they have 3 fights, the early preliminaries. Also, we got for the preliminary bouts, we got Alex Morano versus Carlos Leal, Bruno Ferreira versus Armin Prachosian. Also, we got Joshua Ban versus Ray Tushura and Curtis Blaze versus Riyad Shankumbe. This is going to be at 8 p.m. This is going to be on preliminaries. This is going to be live on ESPN, ESPN News, and ESPN Plus. Also, for the main card, we got King Green versus Mauricio Ruffi for the lightweight bout. For the women's straight bout, the number 5, Amanda Lemos versus number 7, Yasmin Lucindo. At the lightweight bout, they got number 13, Jalen Thurner versus Ignacio Bahamondes from Chile. Also, we got the co-main event, Justin Gage, the number 3, and number 11, Rafael Fiziev. And the main event, Alex Pereira as the champion versus the number 1, the contender, Magomed Ankalaev, which is known as Brazil versus Russia. Well, it's known as, well, the president of the United States is called Russia. Ray Love is going to be, well, it's going to be very sweet. Yeah, very sweet at all. All right, so not only about that, because I was checking out all these social media because I really understand about it. But we all know that between for the press conference of the UFC 314, and look at those people right now, because you guys remember the tweet that Bryce Mitchell criticized John Silva. But John Silva didn't waste any time trying to get under Bryce Mitchell's skin. So they're really set to battle at UFC 314 in Miami. This is going to be on April 12th. And the contest is going to be part of the stack card, includes a Bacon Championship fight on the same division on the main event between Alex Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez and Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett, as known as the Pimblington. When someone has to ask you the first question to the finishers of boos from the crowd, and they just ask, regards for the comments, calling, well, Adolf, because I don't want to say the H word, which is like a good guy, and questioning about like all the politics between like the Holocaust of the podcast. Before he could speak it at all, John Silva interrupted him to say, F. Bryce Mitchell, which all the fans that are joining off. Eventually, I mean, Mitchell clapped back at Silva, which is, well, they just say you're barking off the wrong tree. But you know what? I just wanted to tell you, do not mess with John Silva. I understand that Bryce Mitchell is an all-American fighter. He grows up and he always read the Bible. And even when he stepped up to the octagon, I mean, there was one time that I was watching all of his fights. He holds in the Bible to say, freedom! Yep, that's the same guy. But, you know, between for like John Silva is one of the toughest motherfucker ever on the planet. And I really, really love their skills, the ground and pound, submissions, the knockout power. I mean, that's going to be like a must-see match. And to be honest, right now, there's 3 moments that could really steal the life. The night of Miami, because they have John Silva versus Bryce Mitchell, Alex Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez as a main event. And then Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett. One of those fights could be the fight of the night, and whether they have the biggest pop ever in the whole world. I mean, that could really happen. That could really happen. Also, Ray Love to say Al is gonna win for sure. For sure. But you know what? I mean, some of the content creators and a lot of fans that just wanted to put Michael Bay as the upset, but I don't think it's really sure at all. I don't think it's really sure. But you know, it happens a lot. It happens a lot. And before I had to shut it down right now, because I know this is gonna be like a short stream, we're talking about the preview of the UFC 313. So I just wanted to mention about this. Between like the Nets bands could be at this year. But not only they just wanted to set it up, Alex Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez for the BK Championship. But also they got Paddy Pimblett versus Michael Chandler and John Silva versus Bryce Mitchell. But there is one thing that all the people can enjoy the biggest summer. And Dana White, they prove out, they want to confirm, guess what? John Jones versus Tom Aspinall in the summer. That could be really a blockbuster. But there's one question. Why hasn't John retired yet? Is not going to fight Tom? I mean, what in the actual fuck is keeping out the belt? I mean, who's trying to fight? I mean, Daniel Cormier? I mean, it's like a combination of things. I mean, the first one, it comes like Mind of the Bane. First, he likes all the attention. Number 2, he's just like just like a child or kid at daycare who's hoarding toys and not using, but they don't want to let anyone else play them. Number 3, he wants to spite. he wants to spit Aspinall as waste as much of his time as can. But it's gonna be like a really good blockbuster. But some of those people who say, who gives a shit what they want John Jones won? I mean, he has all had a fun legacy fight that was like really terrible to watch against type music. But if I was Tom, I would mount like a fucking related troll campaign. I mean, I will buy like a pet dog and name John Jones and shoot videos with every day. But thinking about it, holding up the heavyweight division, denying the opportunities that himself was given in the past, is like, that's just fucking pathetic. I mean, I understand that John Jones is the GOAT, but somehow in the reality, it's just like a wife beating, eye poking, stereo taking, rule breaking, I mean, pussy ass. And when they have like the greatest dog in the whole world, I mean, who did it call you? Who did it call you? But here's like another thing. I mean, the most annoying, talking about John Jones ducking Tom Aspinall, that he's very terrible at crafting the convinced argument. It's probably he doesn't need to avoid Tom, but also he really desperately wants people to applaud for him. Sounds like a sociopath, to be honest. But some of those people, they just wanted to relinquish Jones' title. But it comes down like the day that Jones retire will be, I don't know, a good day or a bad day. But people are getting tired about him with his bullshit antics. You know, might be a good day or a bad day for the UFC. But another thing that I was really get through. John Jones has fought 0 active champions at heavyweight. Basically, 0 active. Just one retired champ who has won a fight in years that he holds the belt and deserves a it. But basically, every active top heavyweight, he needs to work harder and deserve that he shot at the belt. Could be. I mean, for me, Tom needs to start some level trash talk if he wants to get Jones to fight him. I mean, it's just like some type of the Gervonta Davis shit. I mean, get the hype bigger so the price get too big for Jones to refuse. I mean, if they want to say something, I mean, don't take it very personal. I mean, put it under the position that it might hurt a lot. But don't get too personal. I mean, Tom Aspinall. I mean, when Jones say the Aspinall fight doesn't understand that he only wants to interesting or legendary opponents for the legacy. I mean, who in the fuck is gonna talk about? The only active fighter that I can think is Pereira, who does not fight at light heavyweight, and certainly Jones is going down for like 2-on-5 anymore. But that don't even insist. That don't even insist for like anyone. But what's gonna happen? I mean, they don't know. If they're gonna have the opportunity to face each other like in June or July, I mean, they're gonna pull it all for the table. And for some person to say they was all right all alone. Yep. All alone. Just all alone. Right now, just getting singer right now. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, it's been another episode of the Comic Club. I understand it became a late night, but due for the internet difficulties, well, technical issues, and of course, because I was trying to figure it out, what the fuck is happening to my StreamYard, which is like a totally nightmare. And of course, salute to Ray Love, Matua, Greenwich, Tarek, and of course, Robert Pena's in the building. So thank you very much. And of course, this Saturday at 9:30 a.m., which I really have because I need to like getting rest for everything. So at 9:30 a.m., I'm gonna talk about Raiders on my podcast called Straight Outta Nation talking about Matt Crosby and Geno Smith. And then at 10 p.m., I'm going to start to do the main card of the UFC 313. Michael Ankalaev versus Alice Pereira and Rafael Fiziev versus Justin Gage. It's going to be really explosive, ladies and gentlemen. Really explosive. And please, make sure to subscribe. Please don't forget to subscribe to Capitán Rafucho on YouTube. And of course, I'm on the road to 15K subscribers. And of course, you can follow me on every social media. Follow me on ads at Capitán Rafucho, which is known as Twitter. I'm almost there to 2K followers. And you can follow me on Instagram as known as Capitán Rafucho 93. Also, you can follow me on TikTok, Rumble, and Twitch. So I just wanted to tell you, thank you very much to having us at this episode of the Combat Club. This is the episode number 37 of the Combat Club. In this club, we're born to fight anywhere, anytime, anyone, because this is like when the martial arts, boxing, and wrestling are united together for all the fans to hang out on a podcast where we get review just like at a close-up of what happens for the pay-per-view that are trending in the world of combat sports. So thank you very much, and I will see you there on Saturday, 9:30 a.m. with Straight Outta Nation talking about Raiders, and of course at 10 p.m. Eastern Time with my play-by-play and live commentary of the UFC 313 Ankalaev versus Pereira. And I really hope that my guy Pereira is going to win gold. So, Shama all day. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. And peace out. We're out of here.